through you guys. Excuse me. Yeah, ours, I'm not going to go through every part of our trip because we'd be here for the next 3 hours. Like I posted on Facebook after one of them is, or the initial part of our last trip was, in chapter 9 of the book that I'll be writing, you can read more about this because it was a book, to say the least, not to mention the whole coaching career, but just that one trip in itself. So we'll go back, and Brad said he has some clips on us as well for us, and we'll go through some of that too. I don't know, I'll talk through whatever it is that he has for us as well. But going back before Christmas break, we did play 2 games, and those are 2 of our opponents, 2 of the teams we played on this last trip as well. So one of them was Midwestern, which was a very, very good team. In fact, we played them on Thursday, handed it to us pretty good. I think we had to, 8-10 points, something like that, with about 10 minutes to go, and then I wouldn't even say the wheels fell off. It was just more of, they turned it up a little bit, we didn't make some shots. Next thing you know, it's 20-25 point win for them, and obviously you can see what they're able to do. But for us to be in there and compete initially, I thought was okay at best, but we knew it was going to be tough, but we had to play perfect, and we didn't. Whether it's because of finals and all those things that Ryan had talked about that comes with our kids. And the academic side of it. But then the next night, we challenged them after that game because you get to that point where sure, teams come in here and maybe they're more talented than us, or maybe they're this, maybe they're that. Bottom line is you make some shots and you do what you're supposed to do, whether it's follow a scout, whether it's just do what you've learned from day one in your basketball career, maybe even making free throws. Whatever the case is, you can. On our schedule, we can play with anybody, and that's where kind of the disappointment was starting to come, where, okay, we're getting beat by teams pretty bad that I think we should be competing with a little bit more, and I got that feeling that some of our guys thought that too, but then another half of them, weren't real sure. So next night in, we got another good team, Eastern New Mexico was up here as well, and they were 6-4 or something like that coming into that game, and scoring 90-some points a game and all those kind of things, and our guys just came ready to play, and it was great to see that. Did a great job on the defensive end, especially of just keeping the ball in front of us, and that's been our challenge for the last 2 years, really, and keeping them out of the lane and contesting their shots. And they didn't shoot it very well. That definitely wasn't their best game, but that was a lot to do with us as well. And then we went down to score. We scored, shoot 97 points, and probably could have kept going. In the last 10 minutes of the game, we're basically running our so-called stall offense and getting good looks every time. If we would have kept pushing at them, I definitely would have been over 100 points, and away we go. So we had a great victory. Connor Koulis in that game scored 33 points, and I don't think he scored the first 10 minutes. So basically in a 20-minute game or whatever he played, I think he played a little bit extra. I kind of kept him in there as. When you don't win very many games, you kind of keep your starters in there a little bit longer than you probably should sometimes, even if you're up 25. And we did that with Connor and a couple other guys just to make sure. It only happened to us once where we got a 10-point lead at BH, but got a chance for him to get some points and do a great job for us to get a victory, which was big going into the break. Then we come back from the break, and our first game was Tarleton, who was number 2, I believe, in the country, 2 or 3. In the country. We knew we were going to have our hands full, and we came out very, very flat. I'll let Jordan talk a little bit about our wonderful experience getting there. But needless to say, we showed up about 55 minutes before the game. Everybody was there but one, so we were pretty good. We were missing our post guys all. Starting post, senior, not too big a deal, but he was not on that trip to start it anyway, and talk a little bit about that in a second. So. Anyway, with Tarleton and not having a practice, we had a couple people just met us down there. A couple of them were there at our practice before we left. Basically, we practiced Monday morning, and not really a practice, just kind of went through some stuff and made sure we remembered some of our offensive things, and got into that game, and what did we score? 14 points, I believe, in the first half. And we got some decent looks, but we knew it was going to be tough, and it was like I think I told them that at halftime or after the game that it was like we went home and played YMCA or against our dads and all that kind of stuff, and we forgot that it's big time college basketball when you're playing at Tarleton, and we played like we were playing at the YMCA. So they kind of regrouped in the second half. We scored a bunch of points early and often to start. We cut it to, I think 6 or 8 points even, and a great team on their home floor, and then just kind of ran out of gas a little bit and ended up losing that one. And then we stayed that night since, whatever, long story, but we just got there. We were supposed to drive after the game to the next game, but we didn't go until the next morning, and played Midwestern again, a team that was very, very good, and we saw at home, and we knew it was going to be tough on the road and stuff, and actually started out the game very, very well. So, ended up running out of gas again at the end of that one, and didn't get the victory. Then we had a day off, traveled on some ice and blizzard, and yes, we were in Texas and New Mexico, but ice and a blizzard, a real blizzard, not just a Texas blizzard, into eastern New Mexico, the team that we just beat by 25, 30 points, whatever it was at our place. And we knew it was going to be different. They didn't shoot the ball well, like I said. Sure enough, they come out knocking down shots. Or they didn't shoot the ball well to start the game, and then we were hitting some shots and doing some things good in the first half. But we had 11 turnovers in that half, and didn't probably shoot as well as we could or finish around the basket maybe. Andrew did finally get there about an hour before. He actually drove in instead of flying because none of the flights were going in and out of there at that time when he finally, he actually got sick right before we left and was in the emergency room, so didn't go on our initial flight, and then got it arranged 3 different times, and finally was on some flights, made it to Denver the night before the game, and then the flights into Lubbock were all canceled, so his parents actually just drove him down. So a 9-hour drive later, and he came out and hadn't practiced or been sick for 14 days, 15 days, and jumped on the court and did some decent things, but nothing like when he was up here. His ankle's been feeling better and that kind of stuff, and that actually looked good all weekend. We didn't make the shots that we needed to, with him included, but a lot of our guys were on the basket, so we only had a few-point lead at halftime. And then sure enough, come out the second half, and especially the last 10 minutes, they started knocking down shots, and they shot unreal. The reason why they had won a number of games prior to that, and we didn't make our free throws. I think, and I apologize for not having all these stats right, but I think in that game we shot 47 free throws, but we were 30 for 47. Okay, so that's obviously not good enough, and we make our free throws, we still probably win the game. But anyway, came away with the loss on that one too. Then literally drove through a blizzard that night. Coach Rudebush got to drive a car that was about that far off the ground and plowing snow for us, and the Prius that he fell in love with, and will probably never buy a different car in his life. So, but anyway, we're driving through a blizzard that's it's coming down. Like I said, it's a true blizzard. We get in about 3:30 in the morning. Have an afternoon. It was a time change, and once again, I'm not going to read my book. Please buy it. It's going to be a national bestseller, I'm sure. But that next day, we got in, like I said, 3:30. Played an afternoon game or a 5 o'clock game, which was Mountain Time versus that, so it was even an hour earlier. So I think it was about an 18-hour turnaround before the game, and came out and we're down, I think 14 or 15 to 2 or something, down 13 points. One of their kid has the first 12 points, 11 points of the game, and a very, very good team. They're leading the Hardline Conference. They're 3-0. They just won again the other night. And finally, we sub in 5 guys, and finally I got that feeling that, we're sick of this. Kind of the same feeling we got right before Christmas of when we play Eastern New Mexico, and goes, God darn it, guys, this is not going to continue to happen. And our guys stepped up, and the next 34 minutes or so, we basically outplayed them and just did some exceptional things on the defensive end. We actually ran some things that we ran last year against Eastern New Mexico, some face-up guarding that we had never even talked about this year. We played all zone against Tarleton, so we carried over some of that zone stuff that we just don't play. Did that against against Lubbock Christian as well, and just kind of took them out of their rhythm. But they're a very good team. Their game was canceled a couple days before, so that was their first day back, game back and things, and they were ready to go. So that was a huge win for us. We just had a number of guys. We shot the ball very, very well, but a number of guys stepped up. And like I said, a lot of it was on the defensive end, but you go back and you look at the stats, and we shot over 50%, which is one of our goals from the field goals, just anywhere. Shot over 40% from the three-point line, which is one of our goals all the time, and then shot 70 or 80% from the free throw line. So those are the things you have to do to beat a big time team on their home court. And like I told Brad or somebody too, that was one of our few D2 games on the road that we've ever won. In fact, I know of one, and that was BH last year. Otherwise, we'd never had a game. Maybe Coach Welsh beat Shattern, I think, during their transition down at Shattern. And other than that, I don't know. I mean, there's probably one or two other ones, but never that I can remember. So to beat a big time team like that on their home floor, and then like I said, them turn around and win another conference game a couple days later was just to show our guys of what we're able to do, what we're capable of doing. So very proud of them that way, especially the adversity that they're throwing at them and that kind of stuff. Then we get a day off, things are going well, and like I said, upbeat and all that kind of stuff. Then we come out and shoot 20% from the field, 20% from the three-point line, and like 50% or whatever from the free throw line. And to be honest, got drilled. I mean, they beat us in every part of the game. And when we went back to New Mexico, it was nice traveling and stuff, thank goodness. But they did come out and 5 games in 7 days, and like Coach Larson had talked about, 2 other games prior to that. So we basically haven't had a practice and played 7 games. But like I said, it all probably caught up to us a little bit. That being said, I was probably pretty disappointed, or I was disappointed that we didn't play better in that game. It was a game that we definitely should have won, or at least competed with a little bit more. And I know our guys were disappointed with that as well. But anyway, the trip was over then. So that was the best part of that whole game. We got to get on a bus or get back on the vans, drive another 2 hours to Lubbock, get a good night's sleep, and jump in a plane and on the way home. For the most part, other than sitting in the tarmac for 45 minutes, waiting for a gate to open up, it was a pretty smooth trip on the way back. And got the guys back here and got to see them this morning. We went curling, actually. So if you need any curling for your any curlers for your curling team, don't ask our guys. They were awful. They were awful. Other than maybe 1 or 2. But, I'm available though. I'm a North Dakota guy, so I'll figure it out very quick. But anyway, then we'll practice this afternoon, and we'll get a good practice in this afternoon. Then we got to prepare again for tomorrow for Friday's game against Black Hills, which it's been tough. It's it's been a tough couple years for our guys and those trips. They're done though. Those crazy trips that we've been on these last 3 years, whether we went to Arizona, California, we schedule these Texas trips, and it's supposed to be above 30, you'd think, when you go down to Texas. It's not. So whatever people say about, they come up here, and I can always hold that against. We recruit Texas pretty hard and got 3 or 4 guys on our team every year. And if they ever tell me that they cannot come up here and handle our weather, they're full of it, because it was as brutal as it's ever been up here too. So, but like I said, I'll let Jordan talk a little bit about that. So we do have BH on Friday. It is at home. Hopefully everybody can be there. Looking for a great crowd. We with playing over break and playing down there. We haven't had great crowds, even on the road too. But our guys are excited to show the improvement that we have made. I've been very proud of them. Fighting through a lot of adversity with winning and losing, plus just all the travel and that kind of stuff. And I can't be more excited about the group that we have right now. But we need to get better. And like Coach Larson said too, next week we're going to take some time and actually work on ourselves and hopefully get better going into that next weekend. But we got to be good, obviously Friday night, because we're not going to get swept by stinking Black Hills. I'll tell you that. So, all right, let's look at the things, and I can ramble my way through them. I'm sure. Good at that, I guess. Looks like Tarleton here, down at Tarleton. Got just a handoff, alley-oop play that we do run. Okay, looks like just a clear out for Connor. Finished with an N1, but obviously wasn't called. I won't even start with the officiating. Once we cut it to 8 points, they had 7 calls in a row that happened to go for them on block charges. 4 of them were. So, and we did some good things, obviously, on that trip. And here was that Lubbock Christian game where we just did an exceptional job with a number of things, and a lot of it was just guys getting in the right spots, playing hard, and just executing. And a lot of inside stuff. Connor had a great game again in this game, and did a lot of good things, and I think he's got a patent on that, so hopefully nobody tries to steal it. We have guys playing in different spots too. We had some injuries. Hopefully you don't check out Facebook in this game. We got guys that had blood on their shorts, and it was at the end of the game, and we wanted to make sure we got them changed quick, and the next thing you know, half of my bench has got their shorts off, so don't be checking out Facebook anytime soon. That little hallway right there, that's where they're supposed to be, but obviously they don't care. But anyway, those were obviously a couple of them from the trip that, it's all about the journey, right? It's all about the journey, so we definitely had a good journey. We'll bring Jordan up here real quick here and talk about the games and whatever else he wants to talk about. He is a senior for us. Great to have him in our program. Excited to be, have him here today. And with our seniors, we've had a lot of injuries. Obviously, with ankle injury with Andrew, every part of the body injury with Kelvin. And Jordan's been healthy, and he's been the solid guy for us. Not shooting the ball nearly as well as he wants to be shooting it. We need him to be shooting it, but it's the second half of the year now. So we're excited to see what he can do the second half of the year. And if you can have a BH game like you did a couple of years or last year, we'll take that any day of the week. So Jordan Dick, real quick.
First off, about the curling, about listen to Coach and see me in Korea in about 4 years, 2018, 2019. So I'm going to say screw this engineering stuff. No, my name's Jordan Dick, like Coach said. I'm a senior basketball-wise, only a junior in schools, transferred in last year. Some of my stuff didn't transfer over. But I'm metallurgical engineering. I'm really coming fond of that engineering field. And I guess just talking about our crazy experience, like Coach said. So we were supposed to leave, about 2 o'clock on that Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. We ended up sitting in the airport for about 7 hours here in Rapid City waiting for our flights. And our flight from Denver to Dallas actually left before we even left Rapids. So I don't know what we're gonna do, and no one really know what to do. And everyone's like, "Hey, what are we gonna do? What's Coach saying?" I don't know. Coach doesn't know. So we ended up getting to Denver, and our flight's already gone. We're kind of sitting there for a while, and Coach is just trying to figure something out, and we're going around trying to find some food, and we finally, probably about 2 a.m. in the airport, Coach said, well, they got us a hotel, so we're going to go over to the hotel, but we got to split up flights, so hopefully everyone's looking on their phone, checking the flights to Dallas the next morning. And the earliest one we found was 5:30. Well, maybe we'll get on that. I doubt we're going to get all 17 of us on that flight, so we're splitting up. So just before we left the hotel, Coach told a couple of us that we were going to at 5:30. I think it was Jay Sean and Coach Webb and Phil. So the rest of us kind of take spans over the hotel, and just as we get back to the hotel, Coach Glenn's like, well, no, they're not going. Connor, you and Jordan, you're going to the 5:30 flight. So me and Connor went up to the rooms and showered real quick and went back up back there for about 4 a.m. and then we took the flight to Dallas by ourselves, and the rest of the guys came a little bit later. And so while we're waiting for them, we're just sleeping in the terminal. So Coach Larson's complaining about sleeping in the Hamptons Inn. Hampton Inn, at least he had a bed to sleep in. So there's not too much to complain about the Hampton Inn. Then a couple days later, the girls are sending us pictures and spread out on the beach and stuff. And we're in our parkas and 6 inches of snow. So that's too fair. So yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And then, like Coach said, we played that Tarleton game probably on 2-3 hours of sleep max, and like you said, we came out pretty flat, but I'm not excited, I guess, but I was proud of some of the guys battle through some of that stuff. Coach always say not make excuses, but in some of that case, that hurts us going into some of that. And then, Calvin always says how great Texas is, and the whole time with Calvin, Texas sucks. Texas is not great. And the crazy thing, in Texas and Mexico, they get used to snow at all. Everyone starts freaking out. They don't have any snow plows, so you're driving in 4 inches of snow, which up here is not that big a deal. But down there's 4 inches of snow on the road, and semis crossway on the roads. And like I said, Tom driving the Prius. A couple times we pulled into a gas station, kind of wanted to catch up, and Tom pulls in and gets stuck in a little drift in the snow, so we have to get out and push the Prius back in the snow, and everyone. Well, then in the vans, everything's icing up. So where I was in Coach Glenn's van, he's cranking the defrosters, trying to keep the windshield clear. So the rest of the van is just 100 degrees, and we got 90 guys in the van, and I'm stuck between Andrew on one side and Papa Shook on their side. So 6'8" and 6'9", I'm stuck in the van. It's like 400 degrees, and sweating. We all take our shirts off in the back. So when we go to push Tom out, Jay Sean's out and just no shirt on, running out in the snow. I think Coach Webb or somebody got a pretty funny video of Jay Sean doing that. So, well, then I did learn something. If I ever have terrible roads, I want Coach Glenn to drive me around because, man, he can drive through the snow. That's for sure. He was sliding off, and he was getting mad and all that stuff. It was pretty comical. For me, that's the stuff that you're gonna remember the most. You look back on some of the stuff, you're not gonna remember we got beat by 30 by Tarleton. You're not gonna remember that you scored a couple points this game, a couple points last game. You remember those long trips with the guys and stuff. And for me, that's the funnest part. The journey. The wins, losses this year is a little disappointing. But like Coach said, it's all about that journey and having fun. This last half of the season, last couple of games, even just really trying to just enjoy the game of basketball as much as I've ever had in my life. Just because it's not gonna, after what we had 9, 10, 11 games left, and my basketball career's over, and everything I've worked for since I was 6, 7 years old is just gone. So it's kind of bittersweet, but we're just gonna try to enjoy this last couple of months. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
Where are you from, Jordan? Again?
I'm from Casper, Wyoming. Yeah, I went to a junior college in Eastern Wyoming. It was a small school, and then transferred here last year.
Ismet or extractive?
Extractive. So that's what, metal are just kind of the whole field, but then I've really kind of been leaning more towards extractive metallurgy.
Black Hills Friday?
We got Black Hills Friday, yeah, and those rivalry games are always a little special. I kind of jumped in right in the middle of a rivalry game, kind of like Jordan, except mine's a little different. Last year was my first BH games, but before that I wasn't even around. Had totally different rivalry in school. But you jump in after the first game, he was automatically hating those guys, and I played. There's a couple of those guys I played in high school. There's a couple of those guys from Wyoming and stuff, and didn't like them in high school, and I still don't like them now.
Shoot the ball.
That's right.
Shoot the ball. Thanks, Jordan.
Well, that's good stuff. That is truly what it's all about. Jordan standing up here, recapping them stories made my mind jump on some of the baseball trips we used to make and some of the adversity that we got to go through when I was a kid or younger. But BH Friday night, I hope that you all can make it. Bring a friend along. Let's get the place full. It starts at 7:30. I thank you for coming today and going through the brisk weather that we have outside. And we'll see you all hopefully on Friday night. Thanks a lot.